Good evening, everyone. It's Daniella here. I wasn't planning on making a video tonight, um, but I like to document my transition, but I also like to document other things. Um, in one of my past videos, I talked about how I lost my great grandfather recently. Um, it's so I don't even know what to say because you know I've always been a person who doesn't deal with death easily. When I lost my great grandmother, I was in 7th grade, and I was young, and that was the first experience I'd ever had with death, and I didn't really know. I just knew that she was my great grandmother, and that that she wasn't around anymore, pretty much. And you fast forward through time, to my senior year of high school, and my grandmother passes away. And that one really hit hard. Not just for me, but for our entire family, because it was so unexpected. My grandmother was funny, beyond funny. She was one of those grandmothers where you would tell a joke, and she wouldn't get it right away. It'd be like hours later where she'd be like, "Oh my God, I know what you're talking about now." She was also the type of woman who, I don't know about some of you guys, but parents are usually higher on the kids, and grandparents are the ones that are the fun, ones that do everything with. There were times when I was a kid, that my grandmother, I'd be hanging out with her during the summer, and she'd take me to the mall, and she'd just spoil me rotten, the day that she died was, I actually spent the night over at her house. It was me, her, and my grandfather. And went to her house. I helped her pick weeds with my grandfather, and then she made us chicken dinner, and we watched a movie, went to bed, got up the next morning, had coffee, and she made breakfast for us. And I was packing my stuff up, and I was getting ready to go home, and she's like, why don't you stay here? I'll bring you home later. And I said, no, I gotta go home, and I gotta do my chores at home. I was looking more to, please my mother. When we drove away that day, looked up at the porch, and I saw my grandmother, and she had the saddest look on her face. Didn't hear from her all day, and I was just getting ready to go in bed, and my mom swung the door open and said, "We gotta go. There's something wrong with your grandmother." So we all jumped in the car, me, my brother, my younger sister, drove up to the cottage there, which is usually normally about a 30-minute drive. We got there in probably 15 minutes. When we got there, walking up the stairs, all I saw was her foot on the floor. And I knew. Now, that same year was my senior year of high school. And I was in school, and they said I had a phone call. And on the other end, it was my mom, and she told me that my grandfather had a heart attack. And my first instinct was to fall to the ground and scream, and that's what I did. Now, he didn't die. He's still alive. But from that point on, his health just declined. And, you know, I made memories with him because I realized at that point, at that moment, and having my grandmother being lost a couple months before, that, life is short. I created memories with him. Him and I used to love going down to Mohegan Sun Hotel and Casino, and we used to gamble. I never thought I'd be a gambler, honestly. But I had so much fun with him doing it. We would sit there at the machines playing. I'd get my non-alcoholic beverage, usually Shirley Temple, and he'd be playing the machines and we'd be playing and playing. We didn't care if we won or lost, because the one thing that we liked more than playing the machines and stuff was the all-you-can-eat buffet. So you fast forward to last year and a half. He's been in the nursing home, and eventually my great-grandfather went in the nursing home. It was tough for him to adjust at first, but he finally went. And he was only in there a few months before I got that phone call saying that he'd passed. Now, my mom and my sister and my stepdad were all with him just a couple hours before he passed away. They were up there visiting him in the nursing home. And my mother called me at work. I'd missed 2 calls, and I called her, and I said, "What's going on?" And she told me. I got to see him when I went to the nursing home, and the one thing that he wanted to do is, I had just gotten a new car, and he says, "Oh, it's a nice car, let's go take a ride." And I didn't know the rules at the nursing home, whether I was allowed to take him out or anything. But I showed him the picture of the car, and he says it looks nice. The day of the funeral, when I was male, I used to wear a suit and tie, and whenever I wore a suit and tie, my great-grandfather and all my grandparents were like, "Oh my God, you look so good in a suit and tie." So, my dilemma was, at the funeral, do I continue to wear my female clothes, or do I dress up in a suit and tie because that's how he'd remember me as. And that's what I did initially, because I wanted him to remember me who I was, the way he liked. Now, not to say that he wouldn't like me as a female, because his generation didn't understand, and that's okay. I didn't expect him to. But, I miss him very much. I know our family does. My grandfather is still at the nursing home, and it's been really rough since he had his 2 strokes. I knew he could go out any day. And it saddens me that he's my last grandparent. So I would say to any of you viewers watching this video, take time for your grandparents, your great-grandparents, any member of your family. Make the memories that you can. Because life is short, and they could be gone like that. No one is ever really prepared for death, especially our loved ones. I've gone to funerals before of people I just knew, and it is sad. And I used to think of myself as a bad person if I went to a funeral and I didn't cry. But people all deal with grief in a different way, and sometimes it hits us differently at different times. I just wanted to make this video to my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my great-grandfather, and say that I miss you guys, and that we're all doing fine here, and that we miss you. And, it wasn't goodbye. It's see you later, because, we will see each other again. All I can say is that I love you. And I know usually I end this with, plugging my channel, but, I'm not doing that tonight. I'm just having a tough night with, grief right now. So I just wanted to give my viewers an update. I do hope you guys all have a good night. Thank you.